Welcome to the Naval Tech Tinker. My name is Mikael Sjöman, and this is a continuation of the jet boat build for my son. So what I have here on my side is a block of battery pack. I have two of these. This is 21 LJMJ1 cells that I bought used, which I got a great price from 18650batteries.eu. Tom, if you're watching this, I know your hobby is like me. Just want to thank you for the great support. And yeah, the main issue what I had with this was that I built two of these and I put these in series, so they were 72 volts. For a marine use, that's not safe. And I learned that as I went, continued, and I promised myself I'll split it up. I'll make to 10 series, 10 in series battery blocks instead. So instead of having 20 in series, I would have 10. That would lower the voltage to 36 volts. No. And I finally got to it. But the problem was that one winter I had forgotten to, go out in the shed and just look how the voltage was. So the voltage has dropped a lot. And when the voltage dropped, they tend to become permanently damaged. And I tested it, it was still fine. I did a lot of tests on that 72 volt battery pack. It was good. It worked. I ran heavy testing on it. It was fine. But now I came down to coming back after a vacation, and yeah, what I found out was that I had not checked the voltages, and for some reason, one or several of these cells has turned becoming bad. So I also had active balancing on this, which meant that if one of these parallel lines was going low, it would take current from the others and transfer that energy to the one that was dipping. That's great, that's how it should be. But the problem was that when I took this out now and I was splitting it to two to make it safe, because I can't use anything unsafe. It should be focused well on safety here, especially since my son is going to run it. I found out that each cell was down to 2.2 volts. And that really sucks, because that meant it's big risk, especially under 2.6, 2.7 volts, that it's, permanent damage. Even under 3 is not healthy at all. And I ran some tests. I slowly charged this up. Then I charged it pretty quick to see if anything, had heat or anything. None. But the voltage drop is that I took this then up from 22 volts. When you put 10 in series, it's 2.2 times 10. And I took it up to 34 volts. And then just see what happens. Well, there was no heat, which is great. But it has a voltage drop of over 2 volts over just 2-3 days. So I am not happy right now because I screwed this up. Nothing wrong with the cells I bought. They're great, but I made a mistake here, and it's a pretty expensive one, and I used a lot of time to build this. And my main issue here is that I don't consider this safe enough to put neither me or especially not my son in a boat. We have to isolate this and create extra protections. And as you can see, it's down to 31.86 volts, and it was up to 32 yesterday. It's just not good enough. Yeah, this is the Naval Tech Tinker lying down edition today. Anyways, so I am in a predicament. I really want my son to be able to go down and to the water, test his new jet boat, and I built, and the jet motor I have 3D printed, and I have aluminium 3D printed on a service, and I need a battery to run it. But it takes time. This build, together with the other one, it took me almost 2.5 months, and I just don't have 2.5 months to do anything similar. Not even 1 month. I need something that I can do like in a week or two. I have like 80 cells still there, so I really don't know what to do. I need a battery, otherwise I can't test my jet motor. I can test it, with just wall current, but that's not really a safe way to do it. And it only gives 10 amps, so it's it would be too low. I need to test it at least with 50, 60, 70 amps to see how the motor performs. So yeah, I think actually I'll just scrap these ones. It's really sad. It was a really fun project. I learned a ton of it. I made mistakes. Luckily I didn't make really bad mistakes. I've covered that in previous videos, and I've also taken away the build video, some of these build videos, because I don't think that anybody should be looking at this and thinking, hey, let's build a 72 volt battery for marine use. That's just not safe. I mean, if you don't know, what happens is that when you go into water, and actually not any water, salt water. Salt water is an electrolyte, and that means that the internal resistance of the body to the water gets lowered. So it's much easier to get electrocuted when you're in salt water than, I mean, multiples, I mean, exponentially easier to get electrocuted if you have, if you're in salt water. I don't think I'll run this in salt water, but you know, that's not. I'm not gonna build something and hope it gets not used incorrectly. You forget over time. You do mistakes. Yeah, safety needs to be. I mean, that needs to take precedence when you do these kind of things. So I think these are going to the scrap. I'm gonna put it to. I mean, the proper place to dispose these. We have a place here, not too far away from my home. I can do that. Here in Sweden, luckily, there's a lot of lithium batteries and they take care of these. So I'm going to dispose them there correctly. And then I have to figure out what the heck to do. Because I neither have the time to rebuild something like this from scratch, but I need something that is like 1.5 kilowatts at least, running at 36 volts nominal, which means at the top when it's fully charged is 42 volts. I calculated the rotations per minute on the motor, and at 42 volts it kind of maxes out what's good. Otherwise the impeller inside the jet motor will start to cavitate, and that will just become, you know, air bubbles in the water instead of pushing the water out. So 1.5 kilowatts, that would probably give me a, you know, some effective running time of like 40 minutes to 1 hour, which is kind of decent. It's not built to be super fast. After all, he's an 8-year-old son. I don't want him to go crazy. I've built the boat as a tank, literally. It's overbuilt like crazy. Actually, it's too overbuilt. I was joking that I could take a shotgun and shoot at it because it has Kevlar and carbon fiber and glass fiber and wood and tons of epoxy. It's just incredibly heavy. Yeah, if it flips over, I need to know that these things are, you know, correctly isolated. There is no risk of electrocution or anything. And I might even try to challenge that a little bit to see if that actually is built correctly. But I need a quick solution. Something that can draw peak 100 amps, since that's the ESC rating that I put inside. No, actually 120 for a very short burst, but I don't think that's an issue. But you could continuously run this as 100. I could lower it since it's a VESC controller, so I can just connect the computer in, tell it don't draw more than say 50, 60, 70 amps, and you know, just to keep the batteries cool and, you know, keep them safe. So anyways, if you have an idea of what I could do, I have more followers nowadays. I really appreciate all the comments I'm getting. So if you have an idea, how the heck can I solve this? I need a battery pack. 1.5 kilowatts. Not super expensive, preferably. I was thinking about prismatic cells, but they have usually a 1C rating, which means that over 1 hour you can take the whole the whole charge out of the battery, but not more. These ones are 3C, so if they fully charge, I can drain all the current out of them in like 20 minutes officially. I would never do that. I would not stress a used cell battery pack anything close to that. It would probably be like 50% of that. These are quite big. These are 2.5 kilowatts, 2.6 I think it was actually, if I remember right. And yeah, I need at least 1.5 to make it not like a, you know, run to the water and it's done and let's go home again. So yeah, a bit bummed, but I thought I shared the bummed part of this story. It's part of life when you do these hobby projects, and I just, you know, the lessons learned here, keep it on a balanced charge. You know, if you don't have it connected, just put, you know, some kind of balance charge that make sure that it's always on perfect 36 volts if it's a 10 volt system, or 3.6 volts per cell. It's that gives it very nice longevity. You can keep these for 10-15 years, no problem. Yeah, so a chapter is ending on this one. It's going to the scrap together with other things I need to throw away. And if anybody needs a 72 volt BMS with a nice active balance charger, and I even have a voltmeter that you can connect to it, let me know. I could give it away for a decent cheap price. I actually have two, one 100 amp and one 150 amp. So if anybody needs 72 volt parts and you want to get them for cheap, let me know. Otherwise it's gonna collect dust and there's no point in that. But if you do 72 volts, don't use it for marine use. That's not safe. You can use it for like skateboards and stuff like that. But 72 volts is dangerous. Remember, anything over 50 volts can easily break the skin barrier. So I think a lot of people are doing these 72 volt batteries and systems, and they haven't read books about the how to do electronics safely, especially high current, high voltage systems. So if you do that, please read books about it. Make sure you know what you're doing, because it's not the safest thing to do otherwise. Anyways, that's for everything this one. I just want to make a quick update to let people know, and maybe also get some help from the community here. Thank you. So, Naval Tech Tinkerer, this was episode something, I don't remember which one, but I hope to be back next time and show you the progress running the motor with some kind of battery. Thank you. Cheers.